Hey guys, welcome to the second episode of the Rebellion Tantra Hour. Sorry we missed one, but we're going to try and get it out every Sunday, maybe a little earlier. But we are going to try to put it out maybe no later or earlier than 5 or 6, only because this is for adults over the age of 18.
Yeah.
And we really don't want to inconvenience our West Coast listeners, or sorry, our East Coast listeners. We do apologize.
Yeah, exactly.
But, just to make sure that we're all copacetic, everything, we're going to do a little bit later. And hopefully you can record it or tune in later. But either way, thank you guys. Thank you as well to our lovely and beautiful host, Jenny, for having us again.
Oh, yes. Thank you so much. We're part of Third Eye Blog Network. We're happy to be here, Sorry.
No, I'm sorry. And this week we're just going to touch on a few little, basic techniques for retaining the jing for guys and being a little healthier.
Here, put it up there. Now we can.
Can't put it sideways.
We might be able to, if it's not going. No, it's not. Oh, maybe I can do it if I change it. Hold on.
Well, it says you can't rotate your phone while live.
Oh, while live? Really?
Yeah.
Oh, hold on a minute.
Facebook, you're screwing it up. Please take notice.
Yes, I know.
Because we don't mind
telling you. Let me see if this one will do it. No, it won't.
So,
okay,
sorry guys.
We'll get it by next week.
Technology, screwing things up twice as efficiently at half the speed. All right, well, hopefully y'all can see us.
Yeah.
Too much.
Hey, everybody. Oh, I'm so happy to see people are able to park again.
Listen, thank you for tuning in. If you can only for a second, we understand people have schedules and things they got to do.
Listen, come back and watch it later. We're putting on it a little late. It's a Tantra thing, so if people aren't working, hopefully they can spend their time with us and, learn some stuff and have some joy.
It's been a big old heat wave here in Southern California and LA. Luckily, it's tapered off quite a bit, but we're still in that kind of sluggish, getting up later than we should and staying up through the evening hours when it's cool mode.
Yeah.
But, that does give a lot of snuggling time, so that's kind of nice.
Yeah. Yeah, this is Tantra Hour, and I'm wearing a t-shirt. You can't see much of my boobs, but I'm braless underneath, so just all the ladies, go braless if you can, because it's actually much better for your boobs, to be honest. If you're a C cup or smaller, just never wear a bra at home, because you're just training your boobs not to have to hold themselves up, apparently. And if you're bigger than that, like I am, you get an excuse.
Pretty large-breasted Italian ladies on my mom's side. Again, I love ladies no matter whether you're big or small or this or that. But what a lot of guys really don't understand is that as beautiful as those big ones are, they cause a ton of pain for women. Back pain, shoulder pain. My poor Nana literally had permanent strap indentations into her shoulders from how much her bra dug into her all her life. My mom had them too. And so did both of my aunts, and it was expected as a woman back then. You just wore that thing, and it would literally, over time, kind of permanently.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, even for larger women, if you're home by yourself, you're not worried about people looking at you, just, you don't have to wear a bra. It's okay. Let your body recover,
One of the biggest aspects of this show is to make people understand that you are free to love yourself no matter who you are.
Yeah, exactly.
That no matter what you look like, you are beautiful.
Yeah.
Many people out there, the irony is that you just don't know many of them.
Yeah, exactly.
So many people who look at themselves and think, I'm so hideous, I'm so ugly, who could love me, or if it was someone, it wouldn't have a person I would like or would feel attracted to. Again, you're selling yourself short.
Hey, people who are watching.
People out there in the world. Not just one or two.
What was that?
I don't know.
Oh, that's blog talk thing, I think.
Okay, hopefully that's okay.
Hopefully it's something fine. Yeah.
But either way, we want you to love yourself and feel good about that. I like that one commercial where the girl's dancing and eating ice cream. She's like, I should be doing this and I should be doing that. But she's happy with herself. Yeah. What it really boils down to is just health. If you are at a weight and a body configuration where you're healthy and you're not hurting and you're not suffering, from joint stress or cardiovascular pulmonary problems, more power to you.
Actually, go ahead, sorry.
No, go ahead.
There's a very interesting thing. People think there's an ideal body that we all will fit into if we all are perfect, and that's the human body is extraordinarily flexible. Even during your lifetime, it's been proven that you can build bone in your facial structure. Yeah. Your whole face is on joints in there, and it can shift. You can have somebody who at one point in their life has an asymmetrical face and looks, and through work, through self-esteem, mostly it's self-esteem, okay? Through self-esteem, through learning to breathe correctly, holding your tongue correctly, you can change your face into what you want it to be to a great degree.
It's true.
to a great degree.
Was it Joe Rogan? We were watching a show, I believe it was on Joe Rogan, where the gentleman was using a small device that he put against his upper palate.
Yeah.
With screws, and it just basically stays in there overnight, and it just puts subtle interior pressure to push your mouth out and reshape your face. And as someone who suffered from TMJ, before my wisdom teeth were popped out, I could just open my jaw and I could crack it, and I could relieve all the pressure in there. And I know that it was pushing on my teeth and it was doing all this stuff, and it wasn't supposed to be in there. I need to pull them out. But ever since they pulled my wisdom teeth, I've suffered horrible TMJ.
Yeah, he has terrible.
I cannot crack my jaw. I cannot relieve the pressure between my ears and my jaw the way I used to, no matter what I do. And, I think that over time, it's because my jaw is compressed. If I can use little devices and wear it, I think over time, I'd be able to get it.
Basically, everybody in the modern world has breathing problems because of dust, because of pollution in the air, because of things like that. And it's making our jaws develop in childhood to be very tiny. And if you have crowding in your mouth, you probably had breathing problems, and your jaw was very tiny. Like I have that. I had severe crowding in my mouth.
And that's it. In addition to ever-increasing levels of not so much pollution, but dust and cat hair.
Like orthodontics shouldn't even be a thing. It's literally because our air is polluted and people are having breathing problems, and the food is a little soft, so it's not developing your jaw as much.
One of the main things of Tantra is breath. As my old teacher said, long breath, long life, short breath, short life. And I know that my, pulmonary system has been massively compromised over the past couple of years because I have been much, much more sedentary, And even though I walk things at work, I didn't do that daily, really intense, at least 30-minute cardio where you just get your heart pumping and you keep it pumping for a protracted period of time.
Yeah.
And, for a lot of people, that can even be deadly now. Like, I have CPOD or I have all kinds of conditions. It's really hard for me to get my cardio up. Yeah. And that is a serious problem. If you can't do something to really get your cardio up to a point where it's, where it should be, it's just going to kind of continue to decrease. And that's where the tantrics are. Because that's the tantric breathing can come in.
Breathing is the perfect thing to start aerobics. If you can't do anything, you can do deep breathing, and that is an aerobic exercise. If you can't do anything but that, you can at least breathe deeply.
If you've been having, problems with feeling sluggish or just kind of tired, you're probably just not getting enough oxygen.
Breathe from your diaphragm. When you breathe in, push your stomach out. Every singer does that. Well, a lot of actors, all actors are trained to do it. All singers are trained to do it. I do it all the time because the way they explained it to me when I first learned to sing, they told me that people naturally are supposed to breathe like that, and everybody just unconsciously picks up this shallow breathing from people seeing people because that's how we learn, and and we're breathing very shallowly. We're not getting the oxygen we need anyway. But I'm sorry.
I did jump in. Again, exercise, and again, breathing is good, but for most people, myself in particular, it gets so stultified, for lack of a better term, that you really need to do this kind of little mini bellows thing, and you have to give a chuckle, my little chubby belly, but basically this.
Yeah, that's a very good breathing exercise too, actually. That's fire breath.
Just literally, and it shouldn't be from your lungs, it should literally be like just the force of your abdomen pulling in and pushing it out.
Yeah, you can hyperoxygenate yourself like that.
Which is also
gives you a little lightheadedness, but it's not bad for you. It just means your body's not used to it, and it's good to get your body used to it.
And it should kind of prime the pump, so to speak, for that deeper breathing. Yeah. Also, you want to do, chosen exhales. A lot of times, it's not so much your inhale, but it's your exhale that's actually weak, which is really the case with me. My inhale is fine, comparatively, but my ability to exhale has been somewhat compromised. So when I'm trying to do these little shamanic cleansing breaths, and you're really, again, trying to force it in reverse from your diaphragm stomach.
And if you can, stuff your stomach in all the way and push as much air out as possible too. That's something else that you do to cleanse your breath. But there's a lot of little techniques. A lot of these actors learn too, because actually back in ancient times, actors and singers were also shamans, and their characters were, a lot of times you only got one character for your whole lifetime, and you just had to become part of that
character.
Well, not
just that. You didn't have speakers, you didn't have electronics, so funnel, so if the people in the back row couldn't hear you, tough luck, chump. And that's why one of my favorite guys from all of Greek history is a man named Stentor. Now, actors will, or at least some of the actors will be familiar with that in terms of the stentorian voice. You know what I mean? This guy was one of the most noted orators in all Rome. He could literally be heard everywhere. And he would literally practice speaking with pebbles in his kisser. He would run up steps shouting just to increase his lung power. And he had a truly mighty voice, you know what I mean? And old Stentor was smart. He knew what he was going after. He didn't. He wasn't a weightlifter. He wasn't trying to get yoked. He just wanted to have incredibly strong lungs and the ability to project his voice.
Yeah.
And so that's what he did. And if you ever just run up steps, I mean, you have to run up steps. Try to run up steps. Like, you do good flight steps. And then try doing it yelling at the top of your lungs.
Yeah,
I mean you'll get a lot of weird looks, I guarantee you. Oh my God,
yeah.
man.
Listen, people who are determined to get stuff. But anyway, I thought every week what I would do is I would start introducing you guys to some of the other aspects of Tantra, which is actually goddess worship and worship of. There are actually various aspects of the monotheistic God, if you believe in a We're all part of God. Every one of us is just one of God's horrible split personalities, and it's sad, very, very sad, actually. But, like, we're all God. We're all part of Him, that He, He's just living a life through you, having fun, learning things, And some of those forms grow, and they get to be bigger forms, and they get to last in higher dimensional planes before they eventually reemerge with our greater consciousness. And if you want that, there are ways to achieve it. But the only way you get it is if you're actually a pretty good person. Like, there are things that block you. Like, evil people are cutting off their heart chakra. In order to do evil, you can't let yourself feel compassion for another person. And that other person is you, because we're all made from the same one united source. So whenever you do something to someone, you really are doing it to
that
yourself.
sounds crazy, guys, but trust me personally, it is one of the hardest lessons you will learn in life.
Yeah.
But truly, what you do to others, you do unto yourself.
Literally, the reason we are literally, when they talk about the veils, it's really a veil inside your head that makes you unable to perceive.
I got a pretty good, I'll be a cheesy metaphor, okay? We're all the diamonds. We're all one diamond, okay? But we all can only see their individual facet.
Yeah.
Does that make any sense? It's just, as a facet, as a chunk, as a flat plane, and it's a huge plane. I mean, it's the entirety of your existence, but that's all you can really see. It's not possible for you to turn around and look backwards, so to speak, from that plane. Again, you have to get outside of the diamond to look back and go, oh, it's a big fucking diamond.
Yeah.
Now I get
If you get very advanced, you will start to identify with more than just your body here. You actually have other bodies and other dimensional planes, and you can actually start to feel what they're doing. A lot of people have guides that they are aware are themselves in higher planes. Instead of perceiving it like you're talking to another person who you understand as you will also be able to see through their eyes and understand that you really are them. I'm sorry. I'm trying to use the space around me. My head. I don't mean to do that. I'm sorry. I'm terrible.
That's why we feel so bad on this.
Yeah, because it's small.
Because after years of joking about people filming stuff right side up, and seeing it on YouTube or whatever, like, dude, you just please love it.
He prefers it turned, and I do too.
And we can't wave at us, but we're gonna figure it out.
We're gonna figure it out. It's almost there. I think that they were putting some restrictions on me because they don't like some of the stuff.
It literally won't even let us film sideways. It's not that we're. Before we could, but we couldn't get you guys to
No, I mean, it's like literally every week it's something, but it's a little less, and haven't been as political in the way that they can
Mr. Zuckerberg, if you're out there, we have absolutely no animosity whatsoever. We just want to see people being healthy and happy and having good, clean, healthy, happy.
That's why we were doing the Tantra thing, because it's like, it's so much nicer. But either way, we're all parts of God, and all these goddesses, like the one I'm going to show you in particular, is a Buddhist and a Tantric goddess, a Hindu goddess and a Buddhist goddess. Yeah, Kurukula.
Oh, okay.
Goddess Kurukula, she's a combination. If anyone's heard of Tara, the green Tara, Tara comes in all colors. Tara comes in white, she comes in golden, and she comes in red. And probably black, too. Black is usually ferocity and more like a Mahakali thing. Red is enchantment and seduction.
But give me background exactly. She's a Hindu deity?
Yes, she's Hindu and Buddhist. That's what I'm about to explain. I'm going to open this up. I wanted to introduce you. First, I'm going to tell you she has incredible powers. This is one of the reasons that I love her. She's the Daikini of magic. A Daikini is kind of like an angel. It's basically she was once a lady who was a yogini who became an angel by realizing herself to be part of the goddess. Okay.
Male yogi, female yogi.
Yeah, that's how it works. And one of her powers, by meditating upon her, it brings the three worlds under one's power. With 100,000 recitations of her mantra, and that's a normal amount. This would be usually under 40 days, but it's really about stretching yourself and what you can achieve. But this is
trying to do at least 108 times a day.
Yeah, 108 times a day will give you powers, but it won't give you. The more you put into it, basically, really quick, because this is super important. If you the more work you put into magic, the more power you'll get. Because you are God, and you have all the powers. But you have to give yourself an excuse to get it.
And you have to remember what you're really looking for. It's not
Yeah.
power over others, because power over others is useless.
Exactly.
It's frustrating, it's wearying,
Yes.
and all it means is that they're going to lean on you. And they're
Yeah.
going to continue to lean on you.
Yeah.
And the more, you know what I mean?
Look
You
at
only
poor
want
Jesus.
power over yourself.
Yeah.
Okay? And you want others
Yeah.
to have power over themselves. That's the goal
Yeah.
of life.
The power, yeah.
And that's what
Enchantment
we're talking about here. So
yeah.
it's self-worth, it's self-esteem, it's self-calm, it's radiating up to your chakras, it's finding the true inner source, the beings of life that you really are, and honing in on that and being happy with that.
And this is what's fun about red magic. Red magic is kind of like borderline magic, because it is,
guys, we really
thank you so much, we love you. It is, in a sense, manipulating people, but it's getting people to choose to flow your way because you're trying to be a good person. You can't do it unless you're a good person, is the thing.
Yeah.
You have to have a higher view, because otherwise what other magicians do who don't have a higher view, what they do is they get demons who have powers to do things for them. And in this case, what you're trying to do is get the same power that a demon would have, and you can use it for good. The only way you get it, though, is if you're good. You know?
Here's a great thing. I'm sure everyone out there knows who Danny Trejo is.
Oh,
Everyone
yeah.
loves Machete.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone loves the guy. You know what I mean? And he's a man who's had admittedly a very rough upbringing, rough childhood, and one of the most beautiful things I ever heard him say, and what truly to me absolutely summarizes the essence of the man. He said, everything I did in life that was good for me, I received because I did good things for other people. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's true, same for me, man. I did a lot of dumb shit as a young man. I mean, I wasn't trying to fuck with people, but, you know, I hung out with a crowd that was relatively compassionless for the time, you know, different bikers. I mean, they were nice people, don't get me wrong. You know what I mean? But in terms of who I was and where I was mentally, you know what I mean? I wasn't a bad person. I was a very nice guy. I helped people out, but I had the capacity to be that compassionless person in the right situation, you know? And it just led me down darker and darker paths. It's like I got to the point where I realized I don't want to hurt anyone. I really don't. I didn't want to think about hurting anyone. I didn't want to hurt me, whatever reason, that I'm just going to bless them and let them go on their way. And when I finally made peace with that and just tried to do as much as I could just to help people, whether they were doing well or down on their luck or just whatever, I got it back. And I felt better about myself. And I felt happier about myself. And I felt like that little hole, we all kind of feel like, what's my purpose here? That's it. That's my purpose. If all you do over a year is just help one person out, you know what I mean, with a kind smile or a little bit of advice, you yourself, if you don't have them in your life, won't know, but you don't know that you might have just saved someone from the brink of suicide. You gave someone hope. You gave someone compassion. You let them understand that the world isn't just this incredibly horrible, evil sphere of hatred and misery. You know
if you're kind to a child and no one's kind to that child, your presence in their life could be the one thing that gets them through, that makes them make a good decision instead of a bad decision. You telling them they're handsome or they're cute when the world tells them they're not. And you know they are. It's just that the world is prejudiced. The world is bad.
There's so much hatred and ugliness and evil out there.
You tell them they're smart when they need to hear it. And because it's true. Don't ever lie to them.
Yeah.
But you look at what's good in people and you encourage the good things.
Yeah. Don't so, oh, no, you're beautiful. And go, listen, honey, I'm not going to lie to you and tell you the world isn't going to think this or that. A lot of people are, but it doesn't really matter because I care about you. And I know you're right. You know what I mean? And you're going to use that as your little, you know, it's a thing. So many people are trying to protect kids and everyone else from having anything bad happen to them. That's a sweet aim, but all you're doing is making them fragile as glass. When they go out in the real world and take a real hit, they're going to crumble, man. You know what I mean? All you can do is love them and tell them, you'll be okay. It's going to hurt, but you'll be okay. You'll get dusted, but you'll get up off the ground. Anyway, but as far as Tantra goes, this is all one thing because there is so much of a level of hate projected on the kids nowadays about sexuality.
Oh, God.
And it's funny because they're absolutely free to have sex as much as they want, but like the implication of love, like, well, you know, not real love. Love is being... One of the things I loved as a kid in the 70s is I grew up with the real hippie era, and
it really was...
like
the millennial kids, like the young adults.
Yeah, a lot of them were real...
Because he's 53,
they feel this reluctance to feel love or express love or be in a relationship where you love someone and then vow. It's like, look, man, it is what it is.
Kinder stuff is what we're talking about. Like, that's not... You don't even know... Like, you used to at least have to talk to a person and have a connection on some level, and that's all I'm saying... That's what's missing. Yeah. You need to have some connection.
There's nothing wrong with being able to have a quick, healthy sex if you want it.
Yeah.
But we went from basically where you had to have a relationship just to have even the most inkling of sex to where you don't have to have anything. And I think, again, that balance factor for a lot of people is skewed because given the choice, kind of swayed to this side. They don't feel they have the right to choose. And I know a lot of my peers that I was going to college with felt that they're really reluctant to say, I love you.
Yeah,
I want to
they
be
are.
with you for a long
I've heard that millennials don't trust anybody, that they've literally been raised in such a way they feel like they can't ever put their faith in people.
That was
and that's
impressive
not
to me.
cool.
It's really they can't put their faith in them.
Yeah.
They feel it by saying, I love you, they're putting a burden on them. Oh, now you have to love me back. Now you have to acknowledge my love. Now we have to be in love with each other. You know what I mean? And it's like, but it's love, man. It's not supposed to be difficult or painful or horrible. I mean, it can be love, which is going to be difficult.
This has become, because people are too woke, too PC, honestly. PC culture's gotten really bad. The importance of, it's not that, well, it can be if you're a woman. Listen, I'll tell you, the white tigress Taoist sexual techniques, it doesn't have nothing to do with deep throating, but it does have to do with oral. And the thing is, a lot of the what they suggested, they don't have the kind of shame we have in the West. They don't have the kind of, like, judgment sometimes. Their suggestion is for women to basically have oral sex with strange men and absorb their energy that they're giving out anyway. It's just going to leave anyway because these guys are untrained. So you're sucking up their energy, storing it in your sacral, getting stronger. It's not the only way to do it. It's not something I do because I'm very shy, actually. I'm okay with nudity and stuff as long as I'm safe in an environment where I'm protected.
She's a good girl. She's not.
Yeah, I'm okay with nudity because I feel like that's freedom and that's love, and I'm giving. I actually have blessings where I can give people a blessing by letting them see me naked and stuff because we're in a. He has one too. You know, he has it as well. But let me real quick talk about.
I just want to say the real fast on the subject while we're here because from the girl perspective, that's cool.
Yeah.
As I've said, I've always felt personally, and here's my thing, I'm a pretty active guy sexually. I have a real hard time sitting still. It's just, you know what I mean? I really have a lot of energy. Yeah. I basically got to, like, whiten up on the fucking chair like it's a Hummer.
He's kind of a miracle.
So, and besides that, I don't like to just kind of have it sit there and be, you know what I mean? I got to be moving. So, as far as the deep throat thing goes, it feels pleasurable, but it's kind of like, to me, it's like sticking my dick in a jar of Noxema. It's like it's there, but I can't, you know what I mean? I don't really have room to move, and that's why I like regular vaginal sex so much. To a certain extent, anal sex. But even with anal sex, again, there's really nothing like the feel
involved.
In terms of its friction with a move. And so that's why I would personally prefer just a good hand. You know what I mean? Like, I've had deep throat plenty of times, and I like it. It's kind of like, and again, the girl can do all kinds of things with her tongue, and it's you know. But as far as I personally go,
there's a lot of little techniques that we'll talk about over time.
Passive activity for me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's just, I mean.
He's got a lot of energy. He's got a lot more energy than your average guy.
I can smoke like a fucking quarter weed and like drink a bottle of Jack, and I'm still, you mean, it's just.
Okay, I don't want to make people jealous. No, what I'm.
But the first time. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of guys should be able to relax more. So for people like that, I think it's the overall sensitivity is a lot less.
Yeah.
So that, I mean, it's like, oh, yeah.
He's, like I said, he's got a lot of energy. Okay, we have a very active sex life. You know, even when it's low, it's still so high. Anyway, let me tell you about Kurkula real quick. 100,000 recitations of her mantra brings kings under one's power. 10,000 recitation brings the masses of ordinary people under power. Obviously, I have not done 10,000. Okay. 10 million recitations brings all the spirits of the earth, all the fairies will be under your power if you can get that done. And this is basically day and night you'd be praying. 700,000 brings the asuras, which are something like demons, but they're not demons. You can work with them; they're okay. Basically, they're like the Aesir of the Norse, but they get a really bad rap in Hinduism. So the 200,000 recitations brings divas, so that's even less. You see. They're like so you can actually get all that if you want to. But I would settle for kings, and what happens is when you do that, you become such a light that your mind can connect to everybody else's mind. They will inevitably see the wisdom of your words. If you're a good person and you put the effort in.
As we talked about before, everything is vibration, and words are literally vibration. Just like if you listen to like a certain kind of music constantly, and it kind of reverberates in your head and is there. So, too, if you are constantly intoning these mantras and you are just constantly saying them and you are constantly making that vibration with them, they literally will reverberate in your subconscious.
108 a day will start the process, and you'll start to feel more magic. She has a lot of powers. I'm going to tell you about them. But her power is mostly to make people love you and to be enchanted with you so that you can use your wisdom to guide them toward better things. That's how you use enchantment for good, okay? Because it can be evil if you want to make it evil, but she is not evil. That's why she's a Buddhist deity as well. Okay, so let me show you her yantra. You can say, oh, you can't see it. There's nothing. Oh, wait.
You just put it up close. Look at it after a second.
Okay, hold on. Let me see if it'll come up. There it is. That is her yantra. You can find that online anywhere you want. And the main mantra, it's a very short mantra. Her main sound is Hri. And that is enchantment. It's associated with the heart chakra. So her mantra is Om Kurakula Hri Svaha.
And it would be spelled, for an English approximation, H-R-I-H.
Yeah.
But the closest sound would be like H-R-E-E.
Yeah.
But there is that kind of guttural consonant. Hri.
Yeah, and say a couple of prayers to Ganesh first, because you're always supposed to, just as in voodoo, you're supposed to acknowledge Papa Legba, you acknowledge Ganesh in Hinduism. It's identical in that sense. And so basically you would say, Om Gam Ganapati Nama, say it 21 times or so, at least. Give a little nod to Ganesh. He's the gatekeeper. He opens the door for the power. Then you would start the Kurakula one. You would look at her mantra, her yantra, and say her mantra, Om Kurakula Hri Svaha. And listen, I promise you, if you sat down and did 1,000 of these a day for a period of time, you would be shocked at the amount of power you will gain, the amount of things will change in your life. Because people literally have all the power you need. All you need is a key to unlock that door. Your mind won't let you have power unless it feels you earned it. And that means putting in effort. And mantras are the simplest way to do that. Because you can literally just sit there, look at a picture, and say the words over and over and over and over, focus on what you're trying to do, and it will happen.
Real quick reminder for everyone that knows and doesn't know, a mantra is a spoken chant.
Yeah.
Okay. A mandala is what she just showed you, which is a picture.
A yantra. It's a yantra, but they are mandalas as well.
Yeah. And then form is a yantra.
Yeah.
A mandala is something you look at, and then a mudra is something you do with your hands.
Yeah. And I'll teach you some of those later.
This is a mudra.
Yeah.
This is a mudra. This is a mudra. We'll go through the 8 of them in a little bit.
Real quick, I'll tell you some of the things that there used to be a book of magic based on Kurakula, and these are some of the things that you could do with it. And if you were able to tap into her power through the mantra, you might be able to achieve some more of this, or some help with it at least. 1, amulets for enchanting and bringing others under one's power, spells to frighten away poisonous snakes, methods for a dissatisfied wife to subjugate her husband. So basically, if you women were seen as powerless, and they were powerless, if you knew anything about
there's actually quite a bit of femdom going on in India.
Yeah, but they would use magic to make sure their husbands would not beat them or would treat them with kindness, things like that. So it was, useful for them and necessary. It was a compassionate thing. Amulets for protection from evil spirits and bad luck. Spells for acquiring wealth and gaining power. The use of cowrie shells for divination and ritual. Divinations to find treasure. Methods of walking on water. Methods to avoid getting gray hair. Cures for frigidity and impotence. And, there's in one Kurakula Sadhana found in Sadhana Mala, number 72, there occurs a list of 8 great cities or magic powers acquired through her practice. Now, these could be acquired just through the mantras, okay? This is not, magical stuff. You can just focus on this, put a lot of effort into it, you get these powers, okay? 1 is the power to be invincible in battle with a sword. That's a good one if you need it. The power to remove ordinary lack of sight by using a magical ointment that enables the user to see devas, nagas, and other spirits. Now, this is something you would probably have to do it 1,000,000 times, because this is a high-level thing. They'll have to be telling you how to make the ointment. Everything is possible. It just depends on someone hasn't done it in a while. It feels a little harder to do, but it is possible. Okay. The power to be swift on foot by using magical ointment, which apply to the feet, blah, blah, blah. The power to become invisible, just to become invisible, and most people experience that as to be unnoticeable, to be able to pass through cameras, the camera might glitch, all kinds of regular, normal things will happen to help you, okay? The power of rejuvenation and long life through obtaining elixir of life throughout the alchemical process. So she can actually help you do internal alchemy that is equal to external alchemy and achieve agelessness, which is one of my main goals of what we're talking about. One of the reasons I'm talking about this. So the power of rejuvenation and long life, The power to levitate or to fly through the sky, that's a super high power. Obviously, you have to put a lot of effort into that kind of thing. The power to move freely through the earth, mountains, solid walls. Some people actually can do that. I've actually seen evidence that in my own real life that can happen. So I know for a fact that's possible. For higher dimensional beings can move between the atoms and walls. It's really crazy because they're higher dimensional. They can appear solid and move through walls. It's really crazy. Anyway, the power to have command over the spirits of the underworld, really, really, really good one. And that's it for that. So I'll talk more about her next week because she actually is interesting for this kind of thing. And like I said, she's Buddhist. She's considered very holy, very light. She's about as light as you can get and get into enchantment. And like I said, her prayer, her mantra will help you. I mean, any kind of mantra practice is going to show you results in your mind and in your body, your spirit. You know, it depends on how much you put into it. But I did want to show you guys something else. Can I have the remote? I want to show you guys a piece of a video. I've done a lot of research into this stuff, and this one is just a good example of the video of the kind of thing that I've found that someone else has already summarized. Am I confirming it? Yes. It won't let you watch it unless it's 18, but unless you're 18. Oh, sorry. Buddhist monks
superpowers, rainbow body, levitation, immortal monks, and the name of the thing is Universe Inside You.
Yeah, it's a pretty popular channel. I'm just going to put it up to the point where I want it to be, where it'll start, and we'll turn it up a little bit. About 4:20. We want to start.
Ordinary case of Kinko H.O. and his death in 1998. As local press reported, recently on August 29, 1998, at Dong Kam Yak in Asi Brong in Tibet, Kinko H.O., 80 years of age, attained physical dissolution. One day at noon, lying in bed without having suffered any recent illness, while in the posture of a sleeping lion and reciting the 6-syllable mantra, he attained Buddha in the primordial basic matrix of alpha purity, his heart of clear light reality perfected beyond the intellect. As his body dissolved into light, his wrinkles vanishing, he seemed like an 8-year-old child with a beautiful complexion. His body gradually diminished in size, and at the end, he attained Buddha. Not even his nails and hair were left behind. It was just like a bird flying from a rock. People nearby have no idea where it might have gone.
Okay, I'm going to stop it there for a second. There are multiple ways to achieve this, but that is true ascension. When a spirit talks to you about ascension, that is someone who ascended, because like Jesus, he dissolved into, and that also proves that Jesus was not the only one, okay? He is one man that never wanted people to think that he was the only one who could ever do that. That makes us all less, okay? The Catholic Church holding up certain saints and acting like they're perfect, if you look into the lives of the saints, not one of them was perfect. Many saints had bad youths, okay, and were bad guys early on and changed their ways and repented. And they didn't get to be saints because they were Catholic either, okay? They got to be saints because they were devoted to a higher force, and that's all. You know, hi. Catholic churches did nothing but limit other people from becoming saints by worshiping people who you should be trying to be like, not trying to say, oh, I'm such a lowly piece of crap, I can never be like them. Actually, you can. All it takes is that you try to be a good person and you meditate on God. It literally takes nothing else, but you have to be devoted about it. And if you get it, you can get a lot of cool shit.
And we don't want to turn into a sausage fest and have too much guys from Earthling off of the Glen.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to give you guys some tips on how to deal with a woman in a nice fashion. Now, a lot of guys have some difficulty finding the G-spot, or they're not aware of it, and it's actually very, very simple, okay? Number one thing, clip your nails. Make sure your nails are nice and clean and not sharp little edges. And all you're going to do is gently, with 2 fingers, gently put them in, okay, and just curve back. And you should feel it's almost like a little shelf for your vagina, okay? So you're going to go in, gently going in, gently touching it, and at that spot where the little shelf is underneath it, kind of back, that's where a G-spot is.
Yeah.
So it literally is kind of hidden, and you can't, and suggesting so in normal sex you're hitting it and pulling on the little membrane thing pull back, but digitally you can stimulate if you gently slide your hands through there, gently, again, because it's sensitive tissue, man, you can tear shit easily. Get in there, feel it gently, hold it down, touch, and then usually, if you're doing it as you're performing cunnilingus correctly, what you kind of want to do is alternate touching that and then hitting the clip. Someone will actually like them together, but because they're literally like right here, almost physically connected to each other behind each other.
They're internally connected.
So usually once you're in there, and most women, just like I said, most guys prefer a little bit stroking and thing too. Women kind of like the two together, and for a lot of women that are too sensitive, they prefer just the oral service. But a lot of women, especially if you've been together a while, just a couple fingers in there, and then kind of reach up gently, touch it, hit the lips, go back, hit the clit, come back, and that rhythm should really help for you to find your partner and for her to find that specific level of stimulation. Because look at it like this, man. For most people, and this is moving against them, guys are kind of like paper. Catch a fire real quick, burns. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a nice flame. Women are kind of like coal. It takes a while to get them going. It really does. You got to, you know what I mean? You can't just, like, as you're doing a barbecue out there, guys, you can't just chuck a match on the Kingsford. It takes a little bit, right? But when that coal gets going, it will burn incredibly hot for hours. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hours.
Oh, yeah.
So if you're the kind of guy who only has like 1 or 2 rounds in him, so what, man? Pace yourself. Give her 1 or 2 or 3 first.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And work into it. And again, a lot of people, it's like, well, dude, time-wise, I love you, I got 3 kids, I got like 15 minutes. Again, that's when it's really good for a couple to know how to just get in there and just, you know what I mean? As hard as it is for some people to admit, one of the best things you can do is watch your partner masturbate. You know what I mean? We've all done it, guys, just like we do, bam, I gotta get this, you know what I mean, a quick one, want to whack one, and we'll do that too sometimes. I just want to pound one out, so to speak, a little free bean shuffle, all right? Because you know how exactly to hit yourself. Watch that, pay attention to them, see what they're doing, watch the motions, watch what they're doing, and then try to recreate them with each other, and usually, if you do it with the least bit of actual concentration, you will find yourself blowing your partner away.
A little advice, this is useful, I find this useful. A lot of women feel a lot of pressure to come really fast, to be able to come right away. Don't put pressure on her to come. If she has a lot of stress, here's what worked for me, okay? We like to experiment with BDSM stuff. We're BDSM people.
Well, more than that, like, it's easy to, a lot of women have a psychological handicap as well.
Yeah.
And that's why being restrained allows them to get over
that's what I was
that
getting at.
fear.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because there's so many things like, I'm naughty, I'm dirty, I'm a bad person.
Yeah.
And they're literally fighting you and themselves.
Yes.
So once you put them in a situation where they can be free of that guilt, it makes a huge difference psychologically. And that 9 times out of 10 is burden. Because a lot of women will, and again, it's just like the guy's going and he's doing the job, getting so my tongue, and she's doing, this sense, you know what I mean? I feel like I'm responsible for that. When she's restrained, man, it's all on, basically all she can do is kind of lay there and take it, so to speak. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that allows you the luxury. And again, teasing is a great thing. If you really want to get the cold lit, light it, man. Feathers are an amazing thing. Just a little feather on all the non-erogenous zones, about half an hour, can do a lot, and a little bit of, just gentle tickling and tease play.
With any oral sex, in my opinion, teasing you should be 80% of it, and then that way you don't have to spend an hour bobbing your head like, I'm tired, my jaw's hurt, either way. Tease her for a while, tease him for a while, spend time, and then once they do come, it's going to be much more explosive, and they're going to really remember that you were good at what you did, that you were good.
Like I said before, a lot of times it's gusto for both things.
Yeah, totally.
If you're trying to be mechanical about it, going, are you digging it? Are you digging it? Are you digging it? Like, no, man, you're freaking me out. Same thing if you're like, you can just lose yourself. lose yourself. I mean, don't lose yourself that you're just like, slobbering on a watermelon or some shit. You know what I mean? Try to pay attention to what you're actually doing. But it's supposed to be, I think, a mutual pleasure. You know what I mean? And if, for whatever reason, it's not pleasurable to you, try to find what will make it pleasurable. You know, I mean, sometimes people are actually astonished to find that in an area where everyone has a shaved face and a shaved beaver, sometimes just having a little bit of a beard and mustache, soft, well groomed, and a little soft patch of pubic hair is a lot of extra stimulation. You shouldn't feel ashamed. I had an old buddy that I really looked up. You know what I mean? And again, having my level of kink and fetish, it was nothing to me for a guy to tell me he simply likes pursued women. That was his thing. He liked hairy girls. And this poor man got so much shit, so much grief, so much. You know what I mean? It just amazed me. And he had this deeply, deeply rooted shame over it. But I just thought, like, dude, compared to what I like, you're fucking a saint. You know what I mean? All you like is a big hairy bush. So what? But yeah, that much prejudice was there at a time too. Too little, too much. You know what I mean? This pressure to perform. And something so innocuous as a simple desire for someone who has, a little more hair on them, causes this guy to literally loathe himself, to loathe these girls. Yeah. And only by hanging around with us, and I'm like, dude, listen, man, whatever turns you on, that's what's right. You know what I mean? And again, there's probably some women out there who are like, hate myself. Like, yeah, but this guy loves you for it. He loves you for it.
Yeah, I mean, some people get like, you know what I mean? Some people are very hairy.
Law plays, guys. The law plays.
There's always somebody who loves you for who you are, though.
Go where you're appreciated, not just tolerated.
Sometimes you feel like you don't want to be a fetish, but it's less of a fetish. It's more like you're looking for somebody who's you're compatible with, and that you get along.
You together. You're not going to stay together unless you're compatible. All you're sharing is Mr. and Mrs. Quick Fuck and gone. Mm-hmm. That's what's going to end up as. But usually people find out that ironically, people with commensurate fetishes tend to have commensurate mentalities on a lot of other wills.
Well, listen, there's a lot of people. You're going to find somebody who's right for you, and who can understand and appreciate it.
My point is, don't be ashamed to go down a big old hairy bush, man. You know what you're doing. You got to take a few hairs. Because I grew up in an era, man, with,
back in the day, nobody shaved. It was a little weird.
Hairy pussy. I dug it.
And then it went down to Brazilians, and then it went down to, but like, okay, really cool, but if we were talking about the immortality aspects of oral sex, okay, for the men, you want to give a lot, and you want to be doing it reverently. You should be seeing that woman as an aspect of the goddess, and you should be looking at oral sex as a prayer, and that's literal. And if you do that, and you're more into giving, that actually is really good for you, youthfulness-wise.
Also, to your ego, because you should have a healthy ego. And there's this thing now where people are so ashamed of things. If you're the kind of guy just like creep on every chick you see, you're a scumbag, dude. Okay? I am. You look at the girl and she looks at you, and you might have like a day or two before felt a little less like, I can't kind of feel strong in my own self. You're like, honey, regardless of what you may or may not think of me or like me, and I'm not trying to make you intimidated, I'm confident in myself because I know I lived that fucking thing for right yesterday. You know what I mean? And women like that.
Listen, men need to feel good about that too.
Women need to feel confident men too. So when you look at someone, you don't feel this like, I have to fucking come up with something to be more than myself in order to impress them so they want to be the shit I am.
Yeah.
Love yourself. And you love
exactly.
Who love you. And so people say don't love yourself. They're not proud of being nice. Like, look, I'm not trying to be creepy. I know what I can do, and if I get to know you and I like you, we're compatible and you're clean. Maybe you could share that too.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, having that energy within you, that
knowledge. No. You have to get over shame. Is the first thing. That's why in Tantra and a lot of things they emphasize nudity. And our teacher emphasized it very, very, very highly. I've seen that man's penis more than I really need to. Okay, all right. But he emphasizes the nudity, and it's a thing to get over feeling like you have to be ashamed of your body. Right. And for some people, they feel like their sexual parts are just shameful anyway, and some people feel like they're ugly. And a lot of times you just feel ugly because you feel like other people are less ugly, and they're not.
Trust me, you are so much more beautiful than you are. All the things you think you don't like about yourself, your odors, your scent, or whatever you want to call it, your cellulite, all the things, these are what make you beautiful. These are what make you exquisite. These are what make me want to fuck the living shit out of you.
Actually,
and I'm not unique. I'm not alone.
No, actually, next week I might read to you one of the programs our teacher did was the uninhibitedness program, and I might read to you some of the exercises he has in there to help you get. One of them involves standing in front of windows naked, allowing people to notice that you're naked, going around without underwear, such things. You know? Nudist colonies are a good way to go, though.
Colonies are brands, okay?
Yeah.
Let's just call it.
Nudist beaches, maybe.
Yeah, or an outdoor, whatever, maybe recreation centers. I just think a colony kind of has this kind of negative pejorative connotation this time.
But you have to get over shame over your body first, because your body can change. Like, people like, oh, one boob is bigger than the other. Your boobs can actually balance out, even if they haven't for a long time. I actually listen to a bunch of subliminals, and they're not perfectly balanced, but they're much, much better. And, they actually help. If you really work on your mind, subliminals actually help a lot.
Yes, no, man. I mean, again, if your partner, if you're looking for
that's perfectly normal.
Yeah, you're average, dude.
Listen, women can't even, physically, we can't even tell how long a dick is. It's the thickness that matters more as far as sensation. It's just hype and propaganda mostly. Yeah. Mostly women that are size queens buy into the hype, and it's not really. I've had a guy that was big, and it was not that big a deal. It really wasn't. You know, he's average size.
I'm straight 8. You know what I mean? But like my little cousin, man, is like, he's fucking.
Oh yeah. He's got a cousin who's 5'4" or something, and
he's like a horse cock, literally. I'm my guy, my life. We were.
That's not a big deal.
Together. It's like, oh shit, cuz, fucking righteous.
But literally, if it's something that bothers you, get good at oral sex. But the truth is, that's a normal-sized penis, and never feel bad about it. That's perfectly normal.
You have to remember that for the average woman, the depth of the vagina is
not as deep as all that anyway, really. And we can't. Only the first few inches it's the thickness.
Yeah, it's not the girth. And again, you say the motion, it's the inside ship, the motion of the ocean.
And listen, if you can, this is why to learn to retain the jing, though. If a man, and this is what I was going to say. For a man, giving oral sex will give you spiritual power, help you stay young. And also learning to retain the jing, which is in a nutshell, it's getting where you're almost to where you can't stop yourself from coming, but not quite. You don't quite reach the peak of where you can't stop yourself from orgasming. You only let yourself get almost there, and then you stop.
Guys,
and you pull back.
You literally mentally and physically have it. With the exception of actually spewing, you're going to get the same dopamine release. You're going to get the same buzz. And this is the thing, because you can just keep cranking them out, man.
Yes.
I mean, it's like a natural fucking speedball. I swear to God it is. It's just like you're pounding, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And,
he does it often.
Yeah,
he does it often.
But anything else? He said,
do it once a day and get yourself used to the idea that the end of sex isn't ejaculation necessarily.
My height, and his girlfriend was 6'2", right, 2 deeper. But again, with your partner, if you're a fairly tall guy and you get a shorter guy, you get to work around. One of the best positions, if you really want to get in there deep. I mean, only complaint I ever had is ouch banging my cervix, which you can do accidentally too.
Like he's not as big as my ex was. He's a fairly normal size, and I always have that. I always have.
2 hands.
He always hits my cervix. So it's like, you really don't need to be big. It's really not. It's really. They're wasting 3 or 4 inches of their dick. It's not even in there.
When she's on her back, take her legs and put them over your shoulders. Be aware when you're doing that, you are getting as deep in there as you possibly can, almost too deep sometimes. So not like just jackhammer in that position. Go really gently, and and then you're good. Same thing when you're going from behind. You're actually going a little deeper. Which is why it's nice she's got kind of a thick booty, because it's a little extra thing, because if you're, going right in on someone's fairly skinny,
and the thing about retaining the jing is, like, first of all, you will learn to be able to orgasm. You'll be a man who can multiple orgasm. Yeah. And that is way more important to a woman than the length of your dick. No one cares. They want to have sex more than one time.
I'll take a guy, like I said, I got a 2-handed 8-incher, right?
Yeah.
But she'd been with a guy who was a little bit over 10 and, like, Coke bottle. But again, like a lot of guys who have that, not all guys, most guys like any guys, but for some reason, some white men tend to feel like, well, I got a big old swallow, I got to kind of whip it out and, it's like,
guys just think dicks are like supermodels. They think it's enough they showed up and allowed you to have sex with them.
I'll pick a guy that can fuck 3 times your dick, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
In 1 hour over a guy that can fuck me once all night long, and then he's done, and if I'm lucky, I'll get it tomorrow.
Yeah, and that's a skill you can build by learning to retain your jing. And there's another trick that's very commonly known, and a lot of Western guys might have to start with this. You find the center of your perineum, right before you're about to orgasm, press,
That's your taint.
Yeah,
Press your taint.
Your taint. Press the center of your taint where there are tubes going from your prostate. Press it, and you will be unable to ejaculate, but you will feel as if you were ejaculating.
You can gently wring your testicles and kind of pull them away from it, because the testicles have to retract in order for you to ejaculate, okay? Which is the whole point of a scrotum strap, and it's an implant. It's really hard for you to blow your wad, and just fucking, with these brothers keeping it there. So you can gently do that, but the whole point of this is you don't want to be a two-pump chump.
Yeah.
You want to be able to have that stamina, that staying power. Fighting's just like fucking. It really is, guys. You know what I mean? 2 minutes can be a really intense session. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's the same
2 minutes
shit.
can be a long time.
I mean, hey man, same shit. You better be doing push-ups. You better be doing your cardio. You better be limber. You better be flexible. You know what I mean? You don't want to get a cramp halfway through. No,
and I'm going to show you guys some, Tai Chi and different things that are part of it. All this
stuff. And
stuff.
that's the thing. People who fight a lot have a lot of adrenaline. People who do a lot of, exercising have a lot of energy, and they like a lot. Nice.
Real quick for women, it's the opposite. Men lose qing by having ejaculation. That's why you want to avoid it. It also helps you be able to have more stamina in bed, and it helps keep you younger. Yeah. There's actually, in some schools, a young man, they would say, probably should only ejaculate once a week, and an older man once a month.
I'm completely violating all the Taoist rules.
Yeah.
But for me, if I have that much buildup, I'm hurting. I got an achy prostate.
Well, let me. I don't want to make people jealous, but I'm going to say this real quick, okay? Because this is the truth, and I just want you to understand. The first time him and I had sex, we had sex 10 times in a couple of hours, and then the next time it was way more than 10, and I can't even imagine how much. He's like a miracle. That's why I say that. God sent him to me as a well of energy and love, so I wouldn't have to be alone.
12 years ago, so I had a little more stamina than I did.
Yeah.
I mean, and again,
this was 14 years ago.
Highly unique, man. Don't feel bad.
He's his own
really aware of that. And I know I'm bragging and telling the truth. But the point is that for most guys, man, just jing a little bit.
But this is something you can build over this lifetime and multiple lifetimes. It's literally just shows that you have somewhere in your past you did the work to get some spiritual power. It doesn't matter if it's it could be a long time ago. And that stuff stays with you from life to life.
What she's saying was for women, it's the exact opposite.
Yeah, for women it's menstruation.
You need to come, because otherwise your thing will dry up.
Yeah, women, what you need to do is when you come, instead of just having an orgasm, clench your perineum, do a kegel, do a strong kegel, and feel that energy flow up your spine. Visualize it. Doesn't matter. Just push it up the spine. Feel it go up your spine and let it circle down. Just keep doing that as you're coming. That's how you circulate your energy. Women have to come. A lot of Taoists and Tantrics will teach you the opposite, but that's because they only know the male way. Because honestly, they thought, like a lot of cultures, women were bad and dirty, and that they literally didn't preserve the female way on purpose, except a very few small schools. And women have to come a lot, and men. Hold on, for cat scratching at the door. And for it's menstruation though, where women lose their chain. Okay, and it's very hard to avoid that. Obviously, we all menstruate, and we want to menstruate. The goal for a lot of Taoists is to reduce your menstruation to one day in life. Even when you're quite young, because it keeps you younger, apparently, longer. But and there are herbs you can use, as well as the energy work itself will help. Will do this for you. But but in order to just deal with it now, what you do is you either use a tampon and just with intention plug it, and do energy work.
Or jade egg.
Or the jade egg, when you're menstruating, though.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're menstruating. Don't listen to me.
Don't listen to that. And then, or the Diva cup. And if you're very adventurous, you can drink that. It's got stem cells in it. I'm not that adventurous. You're young and adventurous, because if you're older, the blood's getting a little you don't do that. It's less good for that kind of thing.
I really need a cup of water right now.
Gross. I know it's gross. I'm sorry. It's one of those things, though. But it's you can reabsorb your own energy that way, or you could just block it and plug it. Another thing that I do, I don't even have a choice. This is just something that I've had, is when I'm low on energy, I literally feel like a spirit, like the Holy Spirit kind of, and I actually feel like I'm being filled with energy. And sometimes it's orgasmic for me. So it's like, if I get high enough, a little high, and I'm having my period, it always happens. Like, that's, so I have little, this is why I always tell people to have friends in higher dimensions, because a lot of, I'm not the kind of girl who could go around and give blowjobs to like 9 strangers, okay? I'm just not that kind of girl.
You know what biker days, man, when I be at like not a clubhouse, but like a party and shit. Yeah,
you have, and that's the Taoist way for women, is to go and absorb it directly from the penis, just to visualize the energy coming into you and to gather that energy. And they're just giving it away. They're not like, it's not like you're stealing from them. They're desperate to give their energy away.
Yeah.
You know? But
it's
not wrong, and it's cool, you know, and a lot of little things like that word, like showing your body, get you a little energy, blah, blah, blah. But the main thing is, you know, and that's like I said, he has a lot of energy. I'm blessed that way. I have him, and I also have spiritual forces that help me. And this is, like I said, why you want to make friends with a goddess and God, not just a goddess. You actually want to have Lord Shiva and or Vishnu, or a combination, because there's Dattatreya is actually a combination of Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. So I consider him like the true God. He's like the Trinity in one, you know?
So,
but like, yeah, you can...
If you have questions, please feel free to put them out there. Don't be embarrassed.
Yeah.
I know for a lot of people, it's like, look, it's really easy for me to listen to you guys talk.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're where you're at. And we do recognize that for many people,
no, I know. I feel like
just even talking about sex, just acknowledging it. And I know that it's shocking. And a lot of these, I want to say, a lot of these millennial kids, as great as it is that it's pretty easy to forget where you came from. It's pretty easy. And I was going to play this. There was really a show back in the 70s called Kids Are People Too. It was this goofy kind of like soapy sales thing, but the point is they actually had to have a show reminding people that kids are people, you know?
Yeah.
And we've come so far in terms of, you know, minority rights, women's rights, gay rights, kids' rights, all these things. People are finally so much freer to not feel ashamed or embarrassed or just basically put upon constantly for being who they are, you know? That's great, but all the ones that came before, all those of us that are, you know, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, you know, we still have to live with all the shit that was put on us generationally. You know what I mean? We're watching this Catholic lady saying, you know, how she wasn't allowed to just call a boy. She always had to be in the, you know, the submissive role. It was always them doing things. She couldn't do this. She couldn't do that. She wasn't allowed to wear this. She wasn't allowed to wear that. She had to, you know, wash dishes and be a housemaker. And, you know, people really don't understand how hard it was to be a woman in the 50s.
Especially if you had, like this woman actually, her father had gotten her into boxing.
Yeah.
That was the one thing she could do that was kind of cool.
He wanted a son.
Yeah.
And she was her firstborn. So he taught her box. Then her brothers came along, and it was what painful her to be the eldest and yet watch her little brothers have so much more than she did.
They had much more freedom. They could do things, go places, and she was kind of the way she sounded, she was you know, she was a person who enjoyed boxing. She wanted to do what the boys did, and she wasn't allowed, and that was really sad, you know?
Yeah, and as I say, you know, that same thing came in terms of sexual inhibition. I knew a girl who absolutely loathed her vagina. She could not stand it.
It was really bad when I was growing up, too.
Goopy, and the goddamn guy would even want to cut your little...
People said horrible things in public, in schools. No one said anything. Boys could say horrible, nasty things about your vagina, and no one would say a word. Not a word. They could literally call it like a goo cave. They could fucking tell you to sit on their face. Yeah. They could say anything. These are 12-year-old boys, and not one person would say anything. And it was horrible, because it really made you feel like there was something disgusting about you. And that's what they do to women. That's because they fear women, and that's why they keep us down. I'm serious. There's something deep inside that was so afraid of women. They were like, that's right, you know?
It's fear of an animal.
Well, there we go.
So, anyway, wrap it up, guys. Just love yourselves, okay, wherever you're at, no matter what you think, you basically have really nowhere to go but up.
Look up Kurukula, and next week I'm going to show you some ways to restore youthfulness for both men and women, and some Tai Chi, some little things you can do for yourself, you know, and we'll talk more about how to gather energy and how to connect with your partner.
I'm not sure exactly how much we can get on here without getting, you know, cut off, but if I can get away with it, I think I'll use an orange. For guys.
Okay.
All right?
Well, we love you guys. Thank you for being here.
Have a good, healthy, happy week. Have a lot of good, healthy, happy sex. Love yourselves. Love your partner. And we will see you guys next week.
Cool.
Keep fucking.